Now, why would Assad's game plan be to deny aid?
Well, it's a siege. And so as they are trying to take control of Aleppo and siege different parts of not only that city but others, if you can starve out your opposition, in this case not just civilians, you also have both ISIS and rebel-backed forces by the United States and others. That's who they're trying to target.
And so what kind of political pressure can be put on somebody like Assad to stop him from doing this?
Putin, the Russians. I mean, all roads lead to Moscow to resolve this crisis, and to a lesser extent, Iran and Hezbollah, right? But in order for Russia to agree that this war ought to be wrapped up, to help them avoid a quagmire in Syria like they experienced in, say, Afghanistan many, many years ago under the old Soviet rule, the United States, I think, has to do one of two things. One, we have to become much more militarily aggressive, which I don't favor, but some people certainly argue. Or the second is we have to recognize that our many red lines that we have put out there, that is the president has put out there in terms of use of chemical weapons or Assad must go, we have to step back and evaluate what is our strategic interest in Syria, and if there is no compelling immediate international or national interest, then we ought to, unfortunately, cooperate with individuals like the Russians to end this war. And that's really what it comes down to.
So, but my understanding is that Russia supports Assad. So how would cooperating with Russia, who supports Assad, help Assad stop preventing aid and continuing this siege, as you call it?
Because Putin and Assad clearly have a very direct relationship. And if Putin says to Assad, do or don't do something in particular, Assad will listen. And if Assad stops listening, if Assad and his government try to do something contrary to what Putin and the Russians want, Russia will do what they did a number of months ago, which is start to withdraw their air power, and very quickly the Assad government will start to crumble. So Assad knows that his position is reliant, if not exclusively, largely on the Russians, and again, to a lesser extent, Hezbollah and some of the forces coming out of Iran. So the leverage over Assad to tell Assad, let the humanitarian vehicles come into the country and take care of these civilians who are trapped, that message has to come from the Iranians and has to come from Putin. And until it does, you will see what we have now, which is basically this complicitness of the Russians in disallowing that aid to come into Syria.